Hi, everyone. So after that inspiring session on entrepreneurs, these four are very inspiring because what they are is really they realize the value of branding themselves, and that's what this title is, of this session is, the power of branding and marketing for doctors. That doesn't come intuitive to all of you, and so these icons in your peers are here to really show you how they do it in their own different sphere. Now, for a start, what we're going to do is we're going to just get them to give you a quick intro about themselves, their specialty, and what they do in terms of social media, so you have different ideas on how they actually market themselves. And then we'll dive into this session the importance of branding, even if you're a KKM houseman, for your career moving forward. So without further ado, I'm going to start there with, what a cool name that is, the Ball Oncologist. So we are both follically challenged. So over to you, sir.
Okay. Hi. Thank you for inviting me. So I'm Dr. Malwinder. So a little bit about my background. I come from a family of doctors. My parents are doctors, uncle, aunties, siblings, even cousins are all doctors. So I'm one who was forced into medicine, but I kind of like it. So I started off in Sungai Petani where I did my housemanship. Then after that, I moved to KL and started my master's in clinical oncology. So that's where I lost all my hair, studying for masters. So that's how I became Paul. So then I graduated from Masters from University Malaya in 2015, and I worked in KKM for at least about 4 or 5 years. So I was posted into various hospitals, and then I moved to private practice in 2019. So when I moved to private practice in 2019, I was working in Klang, which is a small hospital. It's a private hospital. So that's when COVID hit, so patients coming to the hospital was very low. So that's when I got introduced to TikTok and all also. So I started seeing social media. I see a lot of people doing stuff and all. So I actually wanted to do something. I actually bought the camera, I bought the lights and all, but I never started off. I was a bit scared to start off because at that time when I look at TikTok and all, I don't see many doctors doing this stuff, or maybe they do but didn't come on my FYP page. So then slowly I just see other people doing it and all. Then I moved to Pantai Hospital, Kuala Lumpur, where I work as a clinical oncologist in 2022. So when I moved there, I see a lot of my other colleagues also doing a lot of videos, and they do post on Instagram, Facebook and all. So that's where I developed my courage and I started off doing some social media work. Because in private hospital, you have to stand out compared to your peers. There are other oncologists there, so you need to be, people need to know you lah, basically. Okay, so one thing good in my profession, I don't see any other oncologists on social media. I would consider myself, I'm the only one who's very active there. Although I do not have a lot of followers because I'm a very niche kind of subspecialty. So I didn't know much about social media also, so I actually hired a marketing agency to help me out with it. So they did most of the work, I just pitch in a little bit ideas here and there. So last month was exactly 1 year since I've been in social media. So here, that's where I am right now.
Thank you very much, Malwinder. Now, we're going to skip Eric for now. Eric is going to be the best for last because he has a very interesting background. But we'll go over to Runisha now.
Hello. Hi. Good morning. Thank you for having me today. I'm Dr. Runisha. I'm currently in the practice of aesthetic medicine and also regenerative medicine as well. I am the medical director of the International Institute of Wellness and Aesthetic Medicine. To me, personal branding and marketing has played a very huge role, okay, especially when it comes to bringing in clients. I think our end goal is to bring in clients to our practices. So for me, my approach is very simple. Of course, social media marketing. So I approach using TikTok and also Instagram as well. And that has really helped me a lot. And on top of that, I'm pretty lucky and privileged because I'm also from the fashion industry. I'm a fashion influencer and a lifestyle influencer as well. So I do get a lot of my clients from events as well. Okay, so that's one type of marketing, going for events. And also being in the field of aesthetics, we do have a lot of people who wants to look good. And I do get clients from there as well. So that's pretty special. And of course, we can't deny the fact that we are currently in an industry where it's pretty competitive for doctors. So it's very important for doctors to ask themselves, how are they going to be seen?
Okay, thank you very much, Renisha. Dr. Inky, over to you.
Hi, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dr. Inky, and to summarize, I have a special talent. My talent is to take any company from 0 to 1 million in revenue in the first 12 months, and then 10 to 20 million in revenue in the second year. And how I do it is I weaponize, I utilize, and I monetize the 2 million followers which I have. And I started building all this a couple of years ago, slightly pre-pandemic, and it all gathered steam after pandemic. Over the course of 7 to 8 years of entrepreneurship, I've run GP clinics, aesthetic clinics, tech companies, and currently I'm sitting on a board of advisors for roughly about half a dozen tech companies. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing, but at the same time, I'm still building social media because social media is an ever-changing landscape, and I like that daily challenge of that ever-changing landscape.
Thanks a lot, Inky. Now we move on to Eric, and Eric has made a different transition from a marketing perspective.
Hi guys, my name's Eric, and I was a doctor, and I ditched it all completely. While I did ditch it, I still teach medical students part-time. But I listen to their stories, I feel very overwhelmed, all very powerful. Personally, I run a business, I run a marketing team, but the reason why I do it is, of course, entrepreneurs go into business to make money, right? But the reason why I left healthcare is because I wanted more time with my family. It's not so much of, I mean, money is important, but my kids are growing up. I realized doctors have always been trading time for money. I mean, if you are not working, technically, you are not getting money, right? So you need to provide your service to trade. And I realized, I asked a lot of seniors, the senior consultants, who are already at their 60s, drive big cars, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, big houses. I say, you have everything. Is there something that you regret in life or not? Or just one regret? 80% of them would always say, I regret not seeing my kids growing up. And I regret not being there with my family. And I ask myself back, is that the life that I want 20 years down the line? I'm not very old, despite all the white hair here. I'm just 40 this year, okay? 40, right? But I have 2 young kids, and I'm glad I made the transition to do marketing, something that is not something that I grew up with, but I enjoy all this artsy-fartsy stuff in terms of writing. So my platform of choice, where I do my thing, is actually on LinkedIn, because I got no handsome face. You see my face full of acne and stuff like that, right? Then I got nothing to show, but I enjoy writing. So I found LinkedIn as my solace because there people like to read, and I like to write a lot. So I write every day on LinkedIn. And that is how I actually built my business on LinkedIn, and that's how I got all my channels coming in. No need to show face one. I also don't need to show video one. But I just write, and people enjoy reading the stories that I write about my transition, and also businesses started coming. I started in 2020 during COVID time. So that is how I actually built up my business from there.
Now, Inky, can you help us to understand and distill for us what was your journey like? Because this didn't happen overnight. How did you start? And then how did you evolve? And then how did you then use your power of marketing and branding yourself and leverage that into different business opportunities?
So it started a long time ago. I would say roughly about 2015 and 2016. So at the time, I was really into aesthetic medicine, and I had my own aesthetic clinic. And what I saw a lot of clinics doing influencer marketing and KOL marketing. So they were inviting influencers and KOL into the clinics to do treatments, whether it's for free or it's paid. So I did the same thing, and I had a lot of success. However, over time, I realized that I could not just leverage on other people's influence. I need to build my own because, number one, the cost of getting these influencers were going up. It was going from ROI positive to ROI negative. That means it actually costs more to actually get them into your clinic than the revenue or the attention that they can generate. So I thought, is there another way whereby I can generate attention for free? And I realized the one person I do not have to pay is myself. And hence, I started to learn what is it about marketing and especially personal brand. And this was somewhere in 2018. I realized that personal branding, even though the name is personal brand, it's never about you. It's about the value you bring the other person reading or watching your content. What do they get out of it? And most of the time, it has nothing to do with you. Once I realized that, that is when I started to craft my social media presence around what value can I give the community around me. So I started building, number one, conversations, right? I started to have conversations with the people online. What do you guys want to learn? Then I started researching and then crafting content around it. Then, secondly, I started to craft this community around. So I realized that everyone, human beings, they want to belong to someone or somewhere. Now, in the world whereby it's now hyper-connected on social media, we all look for clicks online. So you can be the magnet for this community around you, and you need to curate and craft the community around you carefully. If you are someone negative, you will craft a negative community around you. But if you're someone positive, if you're someone giving, you will craft this positive and giving community around you. And once you have this community leverage behind you, then you can do what I mentioned earlier. You can weaponize them, you can monetize them, or you can utilize them. But end of the day, you need to build goodwill with people in order for them to really trust you. And why is it important for you? End of the day, why is personal branding and marketing important for you? Because it is your first impression. Example, this is the first time meeting this group of panelists, but this is not my first impression of them. I've already seen them online. So I have built trust with them. It means I already trust them before today's session. Hence, it's important for you to build trust with the people around you even before you meet them in person. So from then, pandemic hit, I started going on TikTok, and then that's when this massive growth hit. And I've worked with brands from, skincare brands from all over the world, the largest brands. I've collaborated with people whereby I will probably never collaborate with. I've collaborated with ministries, I've collaborated with celebrities, and all these doors opened up due to personal branding. Hence, I'm really grateful for personal branding, and this is not the end. I'm just going to grow from here. But let me just encourage you that you will never know what will happen at the end of the journey, provided you start the journey now. If you start it now, doors will open for you left, right, center. But if you do not start today, you will find that the doors are difficult to open.